Now, Ormoc is declared as a government hub for relief goods. How is Ormoc faring? I mean, you have the exodus of people from Tacloban going to Ormoc for relief.
No, they're actually going to Ormoc because they want that as an exit point from Tacloban. They're hoping to take the boat or the ferry to Cebu because they just want out of Tacloban. They say that it's not with the intention of really lingering in Ormoc. But as to your question about the relief operations, and I'll be very careful here, Karen, because I want to be objective, and I hope that what I say will not be taken against me. Wala akong pinapatamaan, but the relief operations is just not going as well as it should. The Ormoc City is the hub, and it's supposed to service the entire western part of Leyte. That's about 19 municipalities. And on the 5th day, which is when the relief goods started coming in via the C-130 planes, only 3 C-130 planes could land. So each C-130 plane, because I asked the colonel in charge, Colonel Valencia, each C-130 plane can load about 3 truckloads. And so in one day, that's 9 truckloads for 19 municipalities. So
That's not enough?
That's not enough. That's not enough. So what happens? When the goods arrive, it is turned over to DSWD. DSWD does the dispatching to the different municipalities.
But you'd have to give it to the mayor, no?
Yes, and then the trucks go there with the signature of the mayor. Parang it will not be released without the signature of the mayor, which is okay, because in theory, alam ko naman na yung sistema na ginawa ng national government, in theory, it's correct. But just because the plan is perfect in their minds doesn't mean that its application on the ground will also be perfect. Because what happens is the goods are distributed so thinly that when it gets to the municipality, maybe one municipality will have 1 truckload after being without any relief goods for 4 days. So anong gagawin ngayon? Pipiliin kung sinong pagbibigyan.
Ay, may ganun.
Mas magulo. Because for relief operations sana to be really effective and to be felt, it has to be massive eh. Dapat sabay-sabay dumarating yung goods na en masse talaga, and talagang nalulunod yung lugar ng
relief.
Hindi,
so yung sinabi ni Secretary Gazmin on Head Start, I think it was 2 weeks ago or last week, that the problem they have is barangay captains, mayors choose beneficiaries. Is true?
Yes, it's true. It's true, Karen. And I'm not just talking about my district. It is reflective in all the other municipalities. May politika talaga, Karen. We have to remember, kakatapos lang ng barangay elections. Pagdating mo sa barangay level, sino yung namamahala ng relief goods? You rely on the local leaders there, the barangay captains. And then, another fault with the system is, ang tinitingnan ng listahan ng mga munisipyo is the voters list.
Are you serious?
Yes. Pag hiningi mo yung listahan, voters list ang ibibigay sa'yo. You do not look at the voters list. This is not an election, Karen. We are in a crisis. We have our own list. We have our own coordinators. And we go per household. We have the number of households per barangay, and the discrepancy is big, ha? Kunyari,
kasi hindi naman botante ang lahat eh.
Exactly, and just because hindi ka botante, hindi ibig sabihin na hindi ka na pwedeng tumanggap ng relief goods. You are just as much as a victim as the next person. So, yung voters list, kunyari yung sa voters list, 300 households lang, ay 300 lang, pag tinignan mo yung list na ginawa ng coordinators talaga, he counted 800 to 700 households. So, the goods that we were able to get from, kasi lahat ng goods ng national government, it's being entrusted to the local government, diba? So, the goods that we have been able to distribute are those from private individuals, from NGOs, from our friends. And when we do go in a barangay, we will not attempt to go into a barangay na kulang-kulang yung relief packs for the number of households. So, it's very important, especially in a time like this, na pagpasok sa isang barangay, bilang mo kung ilang households, you have more than that number in terms of relief packs para lahat pantay-pantay, lahat nakakatanggap, dapat walang color coding, walang politika. Kasi may mga nagbibigay na sinasabi, hindi kita bibigyan, alis ka sa linya dahil yung payong mo, hindi yan kay mayor, or hindi tayo magkabalahibo.
May ganon.
Oh, yes, may ganon talaga. May ganon. I mean, even if we want to think na walang ganon, on the ground, that is what is happening.
Okay, all right. No, thank you for telling us that. Now, the mayor, by the way, of Ormoc is Mayor Codilia. He is not from the Liberal Party. You are not from the same party, which sources tell me my sources on the ground tell me make it a little more difficult for you, for example, when it comes to relief operations. So I wanted to ask you first, you have Secretary Maroas and Secretary Soliman discovering that there are rice tents in other municipalities that are not distributed for whatever excuse. Is there the same situation in Ormoc?
There is a dispatching center, Karen, and the flow of goods really is not fast enough. Kasi pag pumunta ka dun sa dispatching center, ang dami pang nakastock.
So Mayor Codilia is not dispatching everything?
No, I'm not saying it's just Mayor Codilia. Okay, I'm talking about the entire district also, and all the other municipalities that is being serviced in the western part of Leyte. Kasi there is one municipality na pumunta dun yung nakakuha na sila ng truck for their municipality. Pagdating doon, may mga barangay na hindi binigyan kasi nga hindi kaalyado. So what does this guy do? The councilor from that municipality comes to me and says, "Ma'am, wala talagang bigas. Gutom na yung mga tao sa barangay, ayaw bigyan ni mayor." So sabi ko, since you are a councilor and you have the personality, you go to the DSWD Dispatching Center, humingi ka na lang ng bigas. And explain to them the situation na hindi kayo pinamahagi-an ng mayor. So he goes to DSWD and he just had a small car, Karen. Hindi naman niya kukunin yung 20 sakong bigas, siguro just 1 or 2. And he explained, naintindihan naman ng colonel in charge and pleaded also on his behalf. And this guy traveled far, mga an hour. The municipality was an hour away. And this was after 4 days of having nothing. So they go to DSWD and DSWD just refused to give him even just 1 sack of rice. And
why
he said,
is that?
Because it needed the endorsement of the mayor. And I know, I understand rules, but there also has to be some flexibility in a crisis like this. Diba, pag may taong gutom, ano ba naman yung isang sako sigurong bigas, hindi naman niya hinihingi yung... Maybe also on the side of DSWD, they're thinking, and I'm not being critical about DSWD here, I'm just telling it as it is, as I've seen it happen.
Okay. All right. Now, clearly there's presence of the U.S. government. I mean, you were saying...
The U.S. forces.
The U.S. forces in your area. So, I'm just curious, I mean, do the U.S. forces know that goods have not been dispatched completely?
In fact,
can you tell me this?
Okay, that is the reason why they went to Ormoc, actually, because they had heard reports of goods not being dispatched fast enough, and goods not being able to reach the mountain barangays because logistically it's just impossible. So there was this wonderful commander, his name was Commander Joe Ring of the USS Mustin. It's a battleship. They sailed all the way from Hong Kong and they docked in Ormoc. And he actually went to the city hall and told the mayor and the local officials there that he had 3 choppers that they could use. It was at their disposal. All they had to do was tell him where they wanted the goods dropped, and he'll do it. 3 days passed. They never took the chance, Karen. They never took that the privilege of having choppers. It was at no cost to the government. All they had to do was bring the goods up to Camp Dones, and they would do an airdrop in those barangays na hindi na naaabot.
But why is that? I mean, I can imagine so much rice, tents.
We did. We used the choppers, whatever goods we had at home from private donations. We turned over to the U.S. Navy, and they did that, and they said it was a wonderful experience because they'd go and then they'd spend some time with the
locals.
With the locals, and the locals were just very, very happy. And I don't know the sense behind it. Maybe it's, for me, I'm guessing it's an issue of control because their idea maybe of effective relief operation is the people knowing that it came from them.
Yeah.
But in a crisis, it's not about the politician, it's not about who gave the goods, it's about it's really about the people being helped. So there has to be that selflessness that even if the people don't know where the goods came from, it's enough that those people are helped.
Now, very clearly, I mean, does the president know that you have this problem?
I have been telling the leaders of the Liberal Party,
Yeah,
yes.
that you have this problem.
Yes.
Yeah, does Secretary Soleman and Secretary Marojas know
I haven't
that this
had-
exists? Yeah.
I haven't had any luck contacting Secretary Dinky.